Welcome to the Canadian Beef Cattle Podcast, presented by the Beef Cattle Research Council. The most popular content from beefresearch.ca, available on the go. Before we get into this week's episode, a quick message from the BCRC.
Cows with an ideal body condition score around 3.0 can rebreed up to 30 days sooner than thin cows. This means more cows calve in the first 21-day cycle, resulting in heavier calves at weaning, with gains of up to 42 pounds. Maintaining ideal body condition also leads to higher pregnancy rates, nearly double those of cows in poor condition, along with better milk production, fewer abortions and stillbirths, healthier calves, and fewer calving difficulties. Learn more about body condition scoring in beef cattle through the link in the show notes. This episode is titled Bale Feeding Pros and Cons.
Bale feeding is common across Canada for all classes of cattle, especially during winter months. There are many different management strategies to deliver bales as feed. To help you determine the best option for you and your cattle, here are the pros and cons of 3 common bale feeding strategies. Strategy number 1, rolling out bales, using a bale processor, and feeding on pasture. Number 2, bale grazing, and number 3, round feeder. When thinking about each strategy for your operation, consider the following. What are the nutritional requirements of your cattle? What is the nutritional quality of your forage? What equipment do you currently have? What equipment do you need? How much time do you have to dedicate to feed management? Here are the pros and cons for rolling out bale, or bale processor fed on pasture. The pros. Cattle are required to travel more for feed, encouraging exercise which may result in less calving difficulties. Opportunity to move feeding location, which allows manure to be deposited more evenly, reducing manure management costs, and targeting areas that would benefit from nutrient deposition. Flexibility with feeding sites. Reduced competition due to increased access to feed. Low input cost. Equipment required is likely equipment already on farm. Doesn't require a lot of new knowledge or skills to implement. Opportunity to monitor cow health before, during, after feeding, as you are amongst the herd almost daily. The cons. Extra work to roll out bales rather than having them freestanding or in a feeder. Cattle will eat some high-quality feed and use the rest as bedding. While this provides organic matter to the soil, in years when feed availability is low and cost is high, it is a significant loss. This loss can be remedied by portable bunks. Required to start equipment every feeding. Winter conditions can cause forage loss or weathering. Overprocessing, for example, bale processor, can cause loss of nutrients if forage fines blow away. Managing net wrap or twine is time-consuming and can be difficult on equipment and cattle. Site options are strictly limited to locations with proper shelter and stock water or adequate snow cover, and limited to mature cows in good condition. Next are the pros and cons for bale grazing. Pros: reduces or eliminates the need to remove or spread manure. Can target sites to increase organic matter in areas that would most benefit in increased forage production. Depending on size of grazing area, cattle may be required to travel more for feed, encouraging exercise, which may result in less calving difficulties. Feed testing is used to improve feed management. More cattle can access feed at a time, compared to rolling bales or using bale feeders. Only requires a tractor once to set up fields. Daily or weekly chores consist of moving fences. Provides an opportunity to build a new skill set for feeding and managing cattle by extending the grazing season using bales. Cons: cattle won't fully clean up feed. While this provides organic matter to the soil in years when feed availability is low and cost is high, you want to minimize this loss. Managing net wrap or twine needs to be a priority. There may be losses due to wildlife grazing. Sites strictly limited to areas with adequate shelter and water. May not be suitable for young or poor-conditioned cattle. Requires pre-planning to set up sites prior to winter feeding period. Temporary fencing management is required. And last but not least, the pros and cons for round feeder. Here are the pros. Cattle consume majority of the feed and leave less behind, wasting less. lower costs than bale processing or rolling bales out due to reduced waste. Less feed to maintain fat cover if hay has adequate nutrient density, as cattle are usually maximizing intake of what is fed. Suited to any cattle class, easy access to cattle for monitoring or treating illnesses. And the cons? Cattle have limited access to feed based on available bunk space, which can increase competition among animals. Cost of bale feeders. Required to start a feed truck or tractor for every feeding. Increased time and financial cost to remove and spread manure if not moving feeding sites. Cattle exercise less to consume feed, which can contribute to calving difficulties. And finally, snow removal may be necessary to support regular feeding activities.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode. You can find all relevant links and information at beefresearch.ca or in the show notes. The Beef Cattle Research Council is funded by the Canadian Beef Cattle Checkoff and strives for excellence in the production of Canadian beef, cattle, and forage through research, innovation, and extension. Tune in every Tuesday as the Canadian Beef Cattle Podcast delivers straightforward insights, expert information, and a wealth of practical knowledge for Canadian beef producers. Subscribe now.